Welcome back from that break. Thank you for joining us on NTV Sport Nights. Joining me now is the newly crowned head CEO of the Uganda Rugby Union. I called you Henry Lutwama, but you actually told me it's your middle name.
Yes,
Isaac
Henry Lutwama. Yes.
Wow, that's great to know.
Okay.
Good.
I'm learning that for the first time. I've known Isaac very long, and I only knew Isaac Lutwama Sovoga, so the Henry one is new.
You know these things of national IDs, these names come out, so I don't want people to find them somewhere and think.
So they're included everywhere.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So, as the new CEO, what should we expect? Congratulations, and what should fans expect? What should we expect, we the media?
I don't know what to call it, but look, first of all, thank you, and thank you for having me here. For me, I think it's about 2022 was a very great journey for Ugandan rugby, and I think for me it's about just ensuring that that development continues. I know that I have a remit to try and work on administration. And of course, we are seeing a lot of improvement coming through our clubs, so I want to continue that journey and ensuring that our clubs are also continuing to gain value out of the players, out of the union programs, but also building value for themselves and for their stakeholders, their players and their fans. But also, just improving the status of our national teams. We saw a very good year for our 7th team. Our 15th team was taking part in our World Cup qualifiers. Our ladies team as well, So, but just trying to ensure that that upward curve for the sport continues. I think that's what people can expect from me.
Isaac, and probably I could be from a position of authority because I've covered the game, and before you became CEO, there's a time I was voted rugby journalist of the year twice.
Wow.
That's how much time I've given the game myself. But now, the union, your biggest product, before we even talk about the national team, has got to be the league.
Yes.
You launched the league last week. Yes. And I saw the league kick off for the weekend. Of course, the result at Kings Park is not what I expected. I thought Eden would go there and win. Eventually, a big one for Pirates there, who won the game 24-18. What's the new thing around the league? Because this is the primary thing that you want to sell, that you want people to get involved in.
Yes, Isma, I know both of us predicted that Heathens win, and even me, I was impressed by how Pirates played, but
extremely well.
I think for me, the league, what's new about the league? I think it's very competitive this year. Like we said, we saw how Heathens played last season. They were very dominant. But to get that result at Kings Park, and I guess maybe we should have seen it coming because they didn't play that well in their semi-final win against Cobs. They were not very dominant against Pirates in the Uganda Cup final. But the way in which Pirates took them apart in that first half, I think bodes very well for the rest of the league. I think now teams are on notice. Remember when we spoke on Saturday, I had predicted a very, very competitive league. And to see how Pirates played, and then to see even the results around the rest of the competition.
Impis.
No one expected, no one expected the Impis to come away from Ginger with a win against the resurgent Hippos. But you saw what it means now. I think you've seen conversations on social media and how the Impis fans have reacted. I think
they are kings on social media.
Exactly. I think on Tuesday, I think on Sunday morning, their hashtag arrogance was trending on Twitter, so you know why. So for me, I think that's the difference with the league this year. We are going to see results like that. Everyone expected a close encounter between Buffaloes and Rhinos, but Buffaloes put on, I think, a bonus point against Rhinos. We know how Rams Mongers went, still a tight contest, and of course then the newly relegated Walukuba receiving a harsh welcome to the league from the Kampala Old Boys. Not my Cops, by the Kampala Old Boys. But for me, I think it's going to be a very competitive league. I couldn't have wanted a more exciting opening. I don't know that you were in Kings Park, but it was very, very well hosted by our hosts, Kings Kings Park, but also our partner Nile Special put on a big show for the fans. It was really, really exciting.
Yeah. And then I've seen also money before Daniel comes in, because this is like the overview. I've seen there's a bit of money, because the thing that normally bothers me with sports is someone to get their personal money, and I know you've been in that position as a manager of a club at Cobs. You probably don't know how much of your personal money that would buy your children ice cream that you've had to put into sport. So what do then clubs have to benefit? Is this about a weekend to go and sweat and have a drink? Of course, the attraction sometimes to rugby has little to do with what is on the pitch. It's about Mebo and Daniel. Some people show up at the games.
Seriously?
No, so it has our partner Nile Special has now, their 4-year contract means it's incremental year on year. They've gone up from just over 600 million that they injected into the league last year to now almost 800 million, actually 800 million shillings. But on top of that, they've also come up with 200 million shillings to be shared by the clubs. So it's a good thing for the clubs. I mean, there's extra funding to now put into their programs. But of course now we know, like you mentioned, with the task that clubs have, that's a drop in the ocean, but it's something to start on. And we are hoping that it will be an ever increasing figure. And of course with the putting out a better spectacle of the sport, when the sport gets better and we're seeing the kind of competition that we saw over the weekend, more partners will want to come in, and we'll see even, partners not just for the league but for the clubs themselves. We've already seen, I think, Platinum Credit and the package they've served out to Heathens, and we're hoping that with more partners coming in, we'll see,
there's Plascon.
There's Plascon, there's
Toyota at Buffaloes.
There's Stanbic at Pirates, and all these partners, we're hoping that more and more will just keep coming in, and we'll see improvement in the league.
Yeah, exactly. You have talked clubs, you have talked the union itself. Now we bring in the men that make it happen on the pitches. Yeah, we see the coaches, the referees. How are they going to be benefiting? How are you, under your regime, gonna see them like come out as the people that we admire behind the scenes, because they operate behind the scenes? How are they incorporated into the program?
Very much so. So I understand that most of the time when we speak rugby and we talk about stakeholders, everyone thinks about the players only. No one ever thinks about the coaches. No one ever spares time to thank the referees. All we hear is
even rugby medical society. Very, very important.
There are very many aspects of the game that we as rugby union look out for. One of them, of course, we always try to get people to come in, and not just as players but as officials, as coaches in the medical society, volunteering. And for me, these are programs that I really want to bring focus on. Many people get out of the sport simply because they think the only avenue they can be there is as a player. But there are opportunities for coaching, for refereeing, and even volunteering, and various management positions as team managers, as all funds coordinators. All these positions should be available for people to take advantage of. And for me, it's the opportunity, because rugby has all these programs where people get all these kind of trainings to stay in there, and especially for match officials. Of late, we've seen a lot of Ugandan match officials getting promoted. We've seen, of course, the team that handled this match, they did an impeccable job. We've seen one of the most celebrated referees, that's Sauda Adiru, has now been promoted in the union, is now in charge of training and education. And we want to recruit more and more officials, especially not just as, at an advanced age, but young people coming in. They should know that these opportunities are available for them at, even at that young age.
Yeah, exactly. I have this that has been always disturbing me. I know rugby attracts big crowds, and this is very...
I go there for the rugby.
But apart from seeing the Daniels, the Mabels, and of course the party that goes on. I mean, every score, I was there, and each score that is scored, they are like, they party. I mean, some bit of music, an interlude there. Then the players continue. Is there any provision? I know Ismail is very lucky. He was voted twice as journalist, but very few journalists actually understand the game of rugby. I got it from a friend of mine, a journalist. He knows him. Kawalia. He's the one who took me through the tutorials. That when you see a try, that's when they run to the finish line, and then there is a conversion. That's a 5, a 7 there on the scores, and it made me love the game. So I know there are so many other journalists in that kind of scenario, like I was, and they would love to know how does it happen. I mean, someone chases the other, they knock each other, they throw themselves down, they get bruised at the end of the day, then they score whatever score. They don't understand. So I'm wondering if there is any provision to teach journalists to help us acquaint ourselves with the game.
You know, it's funny. It's like, I don't know that you've... So last week we had an engagement with the new OSPA executive. They paid a courtesy visit to our office. And one of the things that came up was exactly what you're saying, education for officials, for the journalists and the media. And just this morning we actually had one training. I know OSPA had an engagement today, and they actually reached out. Their Secretary General reached out to me on Friday, and we managed to organize a session with our T&E manager. Sauda was there at that engagement, doing a course, just you know, an entrance course for officials. And it won't stop at just explaining how the game is played. We also want to now take you deeper into the rules to understand, so that when you see a call being made on the pitch, you can actually understand what is it. Because you know, rugby has all kinds of signals. They could say penalty for this, and you're like, but in soccer, a penalty means they go and, you know, kick or something. So, or you see someone kick the ball out, then the same person comes and throws in. Just understanding those simple things. So we are ready to run all these trainings and refresher courses for journalists and anyone who wants to just learn and understand the sport.
And Isaac, one of the other things before you became CEO, the union has really tried to take the game. I like the fact that you had games in Fort Portal, in Imbarara, in Kabal, I think for the second time, in Arua, in Mbale, in Soroti. And then, of course, the clincher for me was taking women's rugby to Wankurukuku. It's extremely important that you maintain these.
So already we are now planning for our 7th season with our technical team. I know they have what we've been trying to do, you know, is, like you said, is trying to get the game out of Kampala, where it's mostly played, and that's why we used the sevens. You know, sevens is a whole different atmosphere, and it's an easier version of the game to understand. It's like exactly, it's like fast food. But it's very exciting. Everyone who watches likes it and enjoys it. So by taking the sport out to, you know, these new centers that we're opening up. The other year we did Kavale, we did, last year we did Arua, like you said, we did Fort Portal, where we partnered with the Kingdom. We've done Ginger, we've done Mbale, we've done all this. And we want to now keep using the 7th version because it's easier for people to experience, and it's a lot more games packed into, you know, 1 or 2 days for people to enjoy. And we want to use that version of the game to grow the sport in other regions. It's good that you mentioned Wankulukuku. Wankulukuku was really a chance for us to go out and use an asset that's been availed to us by the Mutesa Foundation. We want to keep using such opportunities, and I know that there are many opportunities that we can use to, you know, reach new places. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll be in a, is it called Greenlight Stadium? We hope to be back in Nambole very soon. I know the Minister of State has been very, very keen to tell us Nambole is getting ready, Nambole is being prepared, and he's telling us when will rugby come and fill up Nambole, and we are hoping that soon we'll have our first 40,000 or 50,000 people in Nambole enjoying rugby.
I wanted to ask, what are your specific plans in terms of making, helping these clubs become proper administrative units?
I know for one, for us, we had, well, from my old club, we had an opportunity with our partner. They used to run annual courses for us, training, just management, and to understand how to run the sport. And some of these, I think, are actually already documented courses. They're out there for club executives to start training on. The other thing also, I also want to encourage our clubs to use examples that have of success within, not within just rugby, but other sports. There are clubs of sports clubs, not only in rugby, that have actually excelled. There are very good examples in soccer. There are some in basketball. There's no reason why we shouldn't reach out and do exchange programs and go, learn from these people. I mean, I would love to see the likes of mongers or hippos coming to KCCA and asking, how have you managed to run, for your facility? How do you manage to maintain your player welfare and all these things? For me, I think it's about learning from the guys who've actually done it or who are doing it well. That's the only way we can excel ourselves.
Okay. Isaac, and it's late, so at some point we are going to let you go. When you say rugby today, it's very easy to be viewed as an elite sport.
Yes.
A large percentage of us who watch and enjoy the game come from schools as Olugezi.
I don't know what schools you come from.
Okay, at least the schools I come from, we hate you when you speak too much English.
Yes.
So this thing, how does the sport, and for me, for everything that is Ugandan sport, how then do we break this barrier as rugby to take this sport to places? Maybe it's not even enough just playing one kurukuku for a week and then we leave. How do we break the barriers and go beyond Budo, Chisubi, Namilyango, St. Lawrence, Chambogo, Hana? How do we break those barriers and have this sport in Bugweri? Of course, that would bring me some votes as an individual when I go back to stand for Member of Parliament. But for me, it's for the good of sport first.
I thought you were coming to stand for a position in rugby.
Actually, let's combine this to, apart from Bugweri and those other areas, how about the kids? Because we have small boys at home and they're like, for me, I want to run like them. I want to go with the ball up to the finish line there. So what programs do you have for young kids to love the game and to enjoy it, maybe to adopt it even at an early stage?
So most of these programs, so we've seen a lot of programs that recruit young kids into rugby. Most of them have been started, they are club initiatives. And I want to thank their clubs, their centers. I don't want to call them clubs, but I want to call them centers. Some are clubs, some are centers. But there are people who have taken an initiative to, take this game to young people. For example, look, I don't know, Isma, if you were at the PW Foundation, PW15 Foundation event at Chadondo. Yeah. So this is a foundation run by one of Uganda's top players, that's Philip Okorat. And for him, he uses it to give back to Tag Rugby Trust. So Tag Rugby Trust usually was recruiting young kids from under 9, under 13, under 15 into rugby, and they started through Tag Rugby without the contact. That program has given a lot of kids a channel into rugby, not just Philip Okorat, but many of his contemporaries, the Pius Ogenas, the Aaron Oforiworths of this world. So he is reaching out, use this program, but also many other clubs have similar programs. And we also now using the Get Into Rugby program that World Rugby started to now recruit centers and kids into the sport. How do we do this? We have an outreach program, and it runs through our rugby manager and even our women's development officers, who now reach out and try to recruit as many schools as possible into this program. All we do there is go train teachers first to become coaches, and then we try to use the teachers to now pull young kids into the sport. Of course, right now it's not reaching many people, but the idea here is to try and see, of course limited by funds, but the idea is try and see how do we reach more schools and more kids through these programs. It's as simple as, for example, the requirement for the union now asking all clubs to have a junior side that feeds into their system. This junior side is supposed to be an arm for you to recruit, because there's a schools league right now in secondary schools. So we must provide a channel for them to come into the league. They can only get there through this junior side. So all these channels are being opened up by the union. But of course, all these wouldn't be possible if we're not funding them. And of course, now here we hope to utilize programs that we know that the ministry has, programs for talent identification and things like that. So we need for us to, first of all, to build our programs at the ministry. When they have money, they can actually see where that money is going.
Okay, Henry Isaac Lutwama, thank you very much. Congratulations once again on this new role.
Being a CEO.
Sounds
heavy.
Sounds very
I can
big.
imagine now Isaac probably would walk by and have his Rolex. Now probably his Askari wants an extra 5K, because he's had Isaac is now a CEO.
No, these things, you've heard that famous saying that money shouldn't change people. This is not money.
It's a service.
It's a service.
It's
It's
grow.
just a service.
But you could understand that.
No, money shouldn't change people before you have it. It will change me
When you get it.
When I get it.
But I know, Isma, you've enjoyed telling me this. We had the same conversation on Saturday. No, it's the same old Isaac. It's just now in a different place.
In human nature, you would feel that aura of, I'm a CEO.
CEO, we no longer call you that. Well, as we continue talking local sport, here is our 256 roundup.
Uganda Revenue Authority have sacked assistant coach Bei Kambowa. The tax collectors will, however, continue with Sam Timbe as the head coach ahead of the second round of the Uganda Premier League. Olympian Shadil Musaboji lived to the billing with a knockout win over Ivan Magumba to win the super welterweight title. Boji delivered a knockout inside the first round at the indoor arena Lugogo late into Saturday night.
I trained because I needed this title to stone top and to challenge the ABU African title.
Uganda Premier League side Vipers Sports Club have unveiled Brazilian Roberto Luiz Bianchi Beto as the new head coach. The Spaniard, who was born in Brazil, joins on a 2-year deal replacing Roberto Oliveira, who recently joined Tanzanian side Simba Sports Club.
Vamos trabalhar and we are going to work.
The Federation of Uganda Basketball Association, FUBA, will host the Women's FIBA Zone 5 Afrobasket qualifiers. The event, due February 14th to 19th, 2023, will be held at the Indoor Arena in Lugogo.
That is the that we did have for you, and exciting to see that we have a Brazilian here in the local league. We'll now be